So, not exactly where we wanted to be with the Batmobile, if you will, back in our pole barn here where we've been working on our cars recently, with still kind of a fully functioning working car. Not that that's a bad thing if you make it all the way to the end and, you know, do a good job smashing up, the car just stayed together. But in our case, about just a little ways in, as I mentioned in prior videos, the car shuts down, and it was indeed as simple as I was all but certain. Here's our radiator, which you can see it was broken, split. There at the top there's a big chip, as well as at the bottom where it sets in the motor mount here, which you can see there's my new radiator I got from the salvage yard up the way. But the bottom, you can see how it's still pretty beat up. It's kind of hard to see my lighting on the camera, but the core support was pretty beat up. I bent it back to where it's sitting in there how I want it. Again, it's kind of hard to see. I don't have a light with me. But I didn't get up in the front at all. I kind of pushed the guy with my front one time. That's what that is there. And the radiator just kind of, you know, I think it was honestly just from the core support being bent before, which that's on me too. My father-in-law moved it with the tractor and put the bucket under there, and these core supports on the cruisers, you know, sit really low, and he bent it and mangled it all up. It wasn't even from the Derby, but I could have kind of straightened it out. But that ultimately wasn't what knocked me out. That's what made me run a little hotter. It was the battery that I have bought a new one, got a Duralast. Kind of hard to see, but he's sitting in there now. The other one I scrapped as... again, it was my fault. I said that morning, I said to my wife, you know, the battery just acting a little bit funny. I don't know, but put it on the tender, and it was reading at 85% fully charged. You know, it's down a cell, so I was like, well, that makes sense, but ultimately that's what did us in. So here we are building to Derby 2, which is just a couple days away. It's a week from last Saturday when we ran this girl. So I just took the core support there off on top, took out the old radiator, which again was broke. Just put this one in from the salvage yard, bent the bottom of the core support there, as I mentioned, a little bit to kind of get it to set straight. I'll take some zip ties kind of along the side there where those extra kind of mount places are, and just kind of zip tie it to the side there of the kind of body to just kind of make it more stable through there. I mean, zip ties, you know, they're just plastic, but that'll kind of make it more stable until I take a hard punch or anything like that up front. Pretty much all I can do there. Put a little bit more spray foam around the starter, but other than that, everything's good. Filled it up with water, and yeah, she's ready to go. So nothing else to do up front. The only other things I'm going to do with her, I'm going to just kind of spray off the mud a little bit, maybe add a little bit of paint here or there, just because I think we had a pretty cool paint design. And go to this next Derby. Maybe we can get these guys, GSP, I like how they do like a best paint. We'll see if maybe, even though we're pre-ran, they'll let us maybe get one there. I don't know. But door here, just kind of beat in kind of the sheet metal around the fenders. I'll kind of beat that up in a little bit. Again, the back, really nothing much to do. The little bumper there, the rebar in the back was ripped off. Just a couple shots inside. Again, nothing else to do. That's pretty much it. Again, over here, I'm just going to kind of beat this corner in. Not really worried about these little dents here. So spray her off, get that filth from last weekend and that bad taste out of our mouth, and just kind of beat out some sheet metal and get ready to go. I am going to, I'm so frustrated with my battery just set up. I'm going to fix this crap that I've been running. So I'm going to try to get some, I've got a clamp that goes over the top, if you will. I just need to get the right length of the rods there. So I'm going to try to get that set up as well. And I'm probably also going to get a toggle switch because, you know, the whole rain thing, I'm like, ooh, that's a good point. You know, the regular 120 volt just light switches used, and I'm going to mount it up here, which I actually think you're supposed to. They could have made a big stink about it with me at the last Derby, so I'll mount it somewhere up here where it's solid and stable, and I'll have to run my wires just a little bit farther, but I've got that 16 gauge wire. Just cap it off, tape it good, so that's what we're going to do. So that's her. This is kind of Derby Run 2 prep. Disappointed, but we're going to try to button it up and smash this girl good. If we get to the end, great, but we're not even worried about that. I just want this car to be smashed up and do some damage along the way. You can see the only thing really I have a little bit of lingering damage that's somewhat concerning. I think I just got pressed a little bit a couple times and just kind of bent a little bit in, probably that strut. Again, these old cars, they bend up, so the pulleys are there anyways, just inside there. I'll try to be kind of protect that right front as much as possible. So here we go. Let's get after it so we can properly smash her up this Saturday. So one final look at our pre-second run, if you will. Look into the Batmobile, the 2007 PT Cruiser, just what we did. Cleaned off the mud, just kind of sprayed it off, tried to get the filth and the stench that was on it from the last derby. Also, just real quick, put a coat of black as well as gold back on the bat symbols, just to kind of clean it up. Said, hey, I told my wife, heck, GSP normally does, that's the derby promoters for tomorrow. Tomorrow's derby. I said they do a best paint. Maybe we can at least get a trophy with this car for best paint. But we're hoping to smash it up better than we did last time. Did get a new battery, so just a quick look. A little bit of a paint design there. Again, around the fenders. Just kind of took the sledge and beat up in. Tried to like turn it so that nothing there is going to get into my tires. But I was mentioning to a buddy of mine, I said the Cruiser already kind of has the front tires stick out. And now, if you look at it, it's even more so. I said this thing's more like a roadster up front, which that's really, in my opinion, the only weakness with these Cruisers, because everything's so tight right here with the motor from the rebar back. I mean, the radiator is kind of sticking out there, and it's sticking down in kind of an angle too. But it's the wheels that you got to protect. So a little bit of damage again on this guy. He's a little bent in. One guy got into me, but those fenders we beat back. Over here, just kind of peeled the metal back on there. Again, slapped the paint on it. Other than that, just a little bit around the fenders in the rear as well. Bumper didn't do anything, or the back end here, the rebar, little bumper was torn off. This guy over here, I beat at it on the inside for a while and beat it out a little, but really not much to beat out. It's all kind of crimped together, the door. So again, just around the fenders there. Inside, didn't really do anything outside of did tweak the wiring. I should have grabbed a light. Here I got my, see if we can get a little bit more light. I did tweak my wiring. I had a couple guys tell me that one, you see now I have the 120 volt light switch there. I just have the positive just extended. I kind of capped, you can see there in the ground there. I capped the positive together with my 16 gauge wire, ran it up to the plug, and then just ran another wire to the battery. So she works good. I do have a ground on there. I don't know that you need one on there because I have the ground running from the actual fuel cell to the battery still. It's hooked up to the terminal. But put it up here, one, because I've had some guys say that 120 volt switch is better than the standard kind of switch that I had. It's less likely to burn out, and also if it gets wet or kind of moisture on it, these guys, I guess, are a lot less likely to kind of go on you. So also I had it down by the shifter. I needed to have it up here on the dash because that's actually where they want it. Again, something I didn't know. But the guys said, it's not a big deal, we just, getting down into the car if there is a fire, to where if it's on the dash, it's easy to reach. So just kind of quickly touched up the weld inside, just a tiny bit on the back. It's kind of hard to see. Just on the back there, I just kind of touched it up because it was pulled a little bit off the metal on this side from just kind of the car bending. But otherwise, that's really it. And then up front again, a new radiator. Bent the bottom of the core support out a little bit. And she's in there, filled her up with water, no leaks. Again, I'm going to take zip ties and go down the different kind of mounts or brackets there, whatever they are, and just take a zip tie just to kind of make it a little bit more sturdy. I mean, the zip tie is just plastic. It's not like it's going to keep it from breaking, but just kind of keep it more stable if somebody just pushes on me as opposed to a hard punch. That ain't going to stop anything. But yeah, again, thermostat's good. The sensor's good. She's got a full belly of water, so hopefully, like I said, we properly smash her up. We send the Batmobile out how she was intended. So we shall see. We're running her tomorrow morning, getting ready to just load up all my tools over there in front of the Fiesta, and then tomorrow morning I'll load this girl up, and we're heading to the Derby. So hopefully we smash her up well. Also, just wanted to throw in the end of here, you know, usually they do the Power Wheels, the DSP crew does. Kids really like that. So we went again with the Batmobile. Just kind of quickly threw that on there and threw Batman on the side. Hopefully one of my kids will be able to make it, but we're actually heading to a wedding, so I'm not sure if they will. So we might just have a random kid we'll let join the Derby with the Powerwheel Batmobile. So I got a wingman, at least in the vehicle sense. Pretty cool.